The Secret Garden, adapted for English language learners at Level A2 by Story Steps. Chapter 3. The Key. Mary went outside every single day, no matter what the weather was like. She walked faster in the cold to keep warm. She leaned into the wind on windy days, watching the clouds race across the sky. She wore her coat with the hood pulled up in the rain, letting the water run off the fabric. The weather did not interest her much. Her mind was occupied with the secret garden and searching for a way inside. The change in Mary was visible after about 2 weeks. Martha commented on it one morning at breakfast time, setting down a plate of hot toast in front of her. "You look different, miss. You were quite pale and thin at first. Your cheeks have colour in them now, and you look—" Martha searched for the right word. "More awake, like your mind is interested in things." "I walked a great deal lately," said Mary, "every morning and many afternoons. This is exactly what you need. Fresh air and exercise are the best things for growing children. My mother always says they are the best medicine there is. She raised 12 children, so she knows what she is talking about." Mary looked up from her breakfast with sudden interest. This large family intrigued her. "You have 12 brothers and sisters?" "Yes, miss. We live in a cottage on the moors. The cottage has 4 rooms, and you can imagine it is quite lively with so many people in it." "How does your mother manage with so many children?" "She is a very clever woman," said Martha, with simple pride and obvious love for her mother. "She makes everything stretch, and she is cheerful all the time. My brother Dickon is the same way. He is out on the moors with nothing but a crust of bread, and he finds something to be happy about." "Tell me about Dickon," said Mary, hearing something in Martha's voice that made her curious. Martha's face lit up with pride and happiness, becoming even more cheerful than usual. "He is 12, same as you, but he is not much like other boys. He lived on the moors all his life. He knows every inch of them and all the animals and birds, their names and habits and where they live. Animals trust him, miss. It is hard to explain. Birds come and sit near him without fear. Wild rabbits come to his hands. He has a pony that follows him like a dog." "Really?" said Mary, doubtful but fascinated. "Is this really possible?" "It is true, I swear it. He moves very quietly and talks to them gently. They understand somehow. He means no harm. He is the kindest person I have ever known." Mary thought about Dickon as she walked in the garden that day. She had never had a friend, and she was not sure she knew how to have one. Something about Martha's picture seemed real. A boy sitting among wild animals on the open moors, speaking gently to them. She wanted this more than anything, this connection that seemed impossible. If she found Dickon, maybe he could teach her how to be kind to living things. She was walking slowly along the ivy wall, pressing the ivy with both hands, searching. The robin appeared again, landing on the ground nearby with a soft hop. It pulled at something in the dirt. Mary stopped and watched carefully, holding her breath. The bird was tugging at the earth near the base of the wall. It worked at a worm, hopping one way and then another, pulling hard. Mary crouched down slowly to watch more closely, not wanting to frighten it away. The robin looked up at her but did not fly away, trusting her somehow. "You are a brave one," Mary told it softly. "Most birds do not let people get this close." The robin gave a final tug and pulled the worm free. It hopped sideways, moving quickly. As it moved, something caught Mary's eye. There was a small, dark object half buried in the earth. The rain from the previous day had washed some of the soil away, leaving it partly visible. Mary reached out and dug at the earth with her fingers carefully, moving slowly to avoid disturbing the robin. The soil was loose and damp. She felt the object beneath her fingers, cold and hard. She pulled it free and held it up to the grey light. It was a key, an old iron key whose surface was dark with age and rust. It was heavy in her hand, heavier than she expected. She turned it over carefully and looked at it for a long time, her heart beginning to beat faster. Her heart was beating quickly. She looked at the key, at the ivy wall, at the key again. She had been pressing the ivy at eye level. She had not thought to look lower down, where 10 years of growth might hide an entrance. She moved slowly and carefully along the wall, pressing the ivy from the ground up one part at a time, her fingers working through the thick growth. The robin watched from a nearby branch, as if helping her search. Near the end of the wall, she felt something different beneath her hands. Under a thick curtain of ivy near the ground, her hands found something flatter and smoother than stone, something with clear edges underneath the vegetation. A door! Her hands were shaking. Mary pulled the ivy back away from the wall, working carefully and steadily. The ivy was very thick, having grown undisturbed for a decade of seasons. It came away from the wood more easily than she expected, revealing the treasure beneath. The door was made of old grey wood, with iron hinges and a keyhole that matched her key exactly. Mary looked at the key in her trembling hand and at the keyhole in the door. Her heart beat faster, faster. She took a slow breath and pushed the key into the lock. The lock was stiff and needed some force to turn it. She twisted the key gently, then harder. It turned. The door swung open slowly, creaking on its hinges. Mary stepped through and stood very still, scarcely breathing. The garden was not what she had imagined, though she could not have said exactly what she had expected to see. It was large, much larger than she thought it would be. Walls rose on all 4 sides, tall and protective. Bare climbing plants grew over them, with the remnants of last year's roses still clinging to the branches. In the middle was a big, old apple tree with twisted branches that reached in all directions. Weeds choked the flower beds around it. Dead stems tangled together everywhere, brown and grey and wild, showing the passage of 10 years without care. It seemed like a graveyard of plants, a place where life had ended. There was something in the air of the garden, a quiet, waiting feeling that surprised her. Life was there somehow, hiding just under the surface, waiting for spring to wake it. She knelt down near the base of one of the rose bushes and pushed aside the fallen leaves and dead weeds with her fingers. Under the mulch, just touching the surface of the soil, she saw something green and alive. It was a shoot just beginning to grow, a sign of life continuing beneath the death. "It is alive," she whispered to herself. "It is still alive." She moved from bush to bush, checking each one carefully, looking for signs of life. Some of the stems were clearly dead and dry, brittle as paper. Others were alive, holding a secret hope. She knew from the colour, from the way they bent slightly rather than breaking, from the faint suggestion of green beneath the dark bark that had protected it all winter. She walked through the whole garden slowly, every path, every corner, every wall. She touched things and looked at things and crouched down and peered at things. She lost all track of time, moving through the space as if in a dream. The light started to change toward afternoon, golden and slanting. She made herself go back to the door and locked it carefully behind her, keeping the secret safe. She put the key in the deep pocket of her coat, where it rested against her heart. She stood for a moment on the outside of the wall and breathed the ordinary air of the Yorkshire afternoon. Her face was dirty from the soil. Her knees were wet from kneeling. Her hands were muddy and scratched. She felt happier than she remembered feeling in her whole life, though she could not explain it. It was not an exciting happiness like a celebration. It was something quieter and deeper, the feeling of having found something completely her own, something that belonged to her alone. She told no one about what she had found, not Martha, not Ben Weatherstaff, not anyone in the whole house. It was her secret, and she would guard it with her life if she had to.